Something broken lives inside you. You might feel a pain in your chest that's hard to name, a hurt invisible to others, yet it controls so much of what you do. Your childhood left marks that never healed. Those words from people who should have protected you still echo in your mind. The sting of rejection you felt when someone walked away without explanation. The fear that grew when you realized the world was not safe. The silence that followed when you needed someone to listen. Family damage runs deeper than most people admit. Perhaps your parents were too busy to see your pain. Maybe a mother used you as her emotional outlet, or a father disappeared when you needed him most. Siblings might have competed while you just wanted peace. Outside relationships wounded you in ways that still hurt today. The person who promised to stay, but left. The friend who shared your secrets with others. The partner who made you feel small and worthless. The boss who crushed your confidence with cruel words. And sometimes the pain has no clear source. It just sits there, making you doubt yourself, making you afraid to trust new people, making you angry at small things that should not matter, making you feel empty when everyone else seems happy. This broken feeling shows up everywhere. You find it hard to say no, even when people ask too much. You panic when someone takes too long to text back. You sabotage good relationships because you expect them to end anyway. You work too hard trying to prove you are worth something. Most advice on trauma offers surface-level fixes that don't work. They tell you to think positive thoughts or practice gratitude. They suggest you should just move on and forget the past. They promise quick fixes that leave you feeling more broken than before. But what if I told you that two of the greatest minds in psychology, Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, discovered a solution? They spent their lives studying how trauma shapes the human mind. They found the exact method that transforms trauma from your greatest weakness into your greatest strength. Jung created a technique that lets you speak directly to your wounded parts and heal them from the inside. Freud discovered how to stop repeating painful patterns by addressing their hidden source. Both men proved that trauma can become the doorway to becoming your most authentic self. This isn't just theory. It's the practical method thousands of people have used to break free from trauma that controlled their lives for decades. The solution is simpler than you think, but more powerful than you can imagine. If you feel stuck in cycles you cannot break, the method I will share will show you exactly how to escape them. If you wonder why good things feel dangerous, you will learn how to rewire that response. If you are tired of feeling broken while pretending to be fine, the transformation starts today. Here's what most people don't want to hear. Healing requires you to do the one thing you have been avoiding, but I'll show you exactly how to do it safely, effectively, and without re-traumatizing yourself. This isn't about reliving pain for no reason. This is about using Jung and Freud's proven method to reclaim your power. This technique I will teach you works because it addresses trauma at its source, in your unconscious mind where it actually lives. You will learn how to communicate with your wounded parts, give them what they need, and integrate them back into wholeness. Stay with me until the end, because I will walk you through the complete process, step by step. You will leave this video with specific tools you can use immediately to start healing trauma that has controlled you for years. Your transformation begins with understanding Jung's most powerful discovery, Jung's revolutionary method for healing. Carl Jung made a discovery that changed everything we know about healing trauma. He found that wounded parts of your personality operate like separate people living inside your mind. These parts, which he called complexes, hold all your traumatic memories and emotions. The breakthrough came when Jung realized you can actually communicate with these wounded parts. You can have conversations with them, understand their fears, and give them what they need to heal. This technique, called active imagination, became one of the most powerful healing methods ever created. Here's how it works. When trauma happens, part of your personality gets frozen at that moment in time. If you were hurt at age 7, there is still a 7-year-old part of you carrying that exact pain. This part influences your adult decisions from the shadows, trying to protect you from similar hurt. Jung discovered that instead of ignoring these parts or trying to get rid of them, you can befriend them. You can ask them what they need, listen to their fears, and provide the comfort they never received. When you do this, something remarkable happens. They stop controlling your life from the unconscious. The wounded 7-year-old who was abandoned stops making you panic when people are late. The rejected teenager stops making you sabotage relationships. The criticized child stops making you afraid of success. They heal because they finally feel seen and understood. This is completely different from traditional therapy that tries to analyze trauma from the outside. Jung's method works from the inside, giving your wounded parts exactly what they have been asking for all along: acknowledgement, understanding, and love. Most people spend years trying to think their way out of trauma. They understand why they react certain ways, but cannot stop reacting. Jung showed that trauma does not live in your thinking mind. It lives in your feeling mind. You must work with feelings, not just thoughts. The active imagination technique is so powerful because it speaks the same language as trauma. Trauma communicates through images, emotions, and body sensations. When you respond in the same language, healing happens naturally and quickly. Jung also discovered that healed trauma becomes your greatest strength. The parts of you that were wounded hold your deepest wisdom, creativity, and compassion. When you heal them instead of hiding from them, they become allies that help you live with more authenticity and power. People who have done this work report feeling more confident, creative, and emotionally stable than ever before. They stop repeating painful patterns because the wounded parts driving those patterns have been healed. They can trust their decisions because they are no longer influenced by unconscious fears. The next section will show you exactly how to practice active imagination, plus 4 other techniques Jung and Freud developed for healing trauma at its source. These are not complicated methods that require years of training. They are simple practices you can start using today. The 5-step solution that actually works. Everything Jung and Freud discovered about healing trauma can be organized into 5 specific steps. Follow these steps consistently, and you will see changes in your life that seemed impossible before. This is the complete method, not just pieces of it. Step 1. Trauma mapping. Every morning for 1 week, write down 3 moments when you felt a strong emotional reaction the day before. For each reaction, ask yourself what age you felt when it happened. Most people discover their reactions come from much younger versions of themselves. Write down the age that comes to mind, even if it seems random. Then ask that younger version what they were feeling and what they needed in that moment. This creates the first bridge between your adult self and your wounded parts. You start recognizing when old wounds are driving present reactions. Step 2. Active imagination dialogue. Choose the youngest, most hurt version of yourself from your mapping exercise. Sit quietly and visualize this part of you as clearly as possible. See them as a separate person who needs your help. Ask them 3 questions. What are you feeling? What do you need from me? What would help you feel safe? Listen to whatever comes up, even if it seems silly or unrealistic. The 7-year-old might want you to tell them they are loved. The teenager might need you to stand up for them. The child might want you to spend time playing instead of working constantly. Take these requests seriously. They hold the key to your healing. Step 3. Emotional completion. The wounded parts of you have emotions they never got to express safely. Set aside 15 minutes each day to let these emotions move through your body. If the child part feels angry, let yourself feel angry. If the teenager feels sad, let yourself cry. Do not try to fix the emotions or make them go away. Just let them exist without judgment. Your job is to provide the safe space your younger self never had to feel their feelings completely. When emotions are fully felt and accepted, they naturally transform and release. Step 4. Symbolic action. Your wounded parts communicate through symbols and rituals, not just words. Create physical actions that show your commitment to healing them. Write a letter to someone who hurt you and burn it safely. Buy yourself the toy your inner child always wanted. Take a day off work to play if your younger self was forced to be serious too early. These symbolic actions send a powerful message to your unconscious that healing is really happening. They bridge the gap between internal work and external reality, making the healing process concrete and real. Step 5. Integration practice. As your wounded parts begin to heal, you need to integrate their wisdom into your adult life. The sensitive child who was told to toughen up might become your source of empathy and creativity. The angry teenager who was silenced might become your ability to set healthy boundaries. Ask each healed part what gifts they want to contribute to your life now. Then create space for these gifts in your daily routine. If your inner child wants to play, schedule regular playtime. If your inner teenager wants to create art, make time for creative expression. This 5-step process works because it addresses trauma the way trauma actually exists in your psyche, as living, feeling parts of yourself that need attention and care. When you give them what they need, they stop sabotaging your life and start supporting it instead. Most people see significant changes within the first month of practicing these steps consistently. Anxiety decreases because the scared parts feel safer. Depression lifts because the sad parts feel heard. Relationship patterns improve because the wounded parts are no longer driving unconscious choices. The key is consistency, not perfection. Even 5 minutes a day of this work creates healing, momentum that builds over time. Your wounded parts have been waiting years or decades for this attention. They will respond quickly when you finally provide it. Advanced techniques for deep healing. Once you have practiced the 5 basic steps, these advanced techniques will accelerate your healing and help you access deeper layers of transformation. These methods come directly from Jung and Freud's most powerful discoveries about the unconscious mind. Dream work is one of Jung's most effective techniques for accessing unconscious trauma. Your dreams show you exactly what your wounded parts need to heal, but in symbolic language. Keep a dream journal and pay special attention to dreams where you feel scared, angry, or sad. Look for recurring characters in your dreams. They often represent wounded parts of yourself. A scary figure chasing you might be trauma you are running from. A crying child might be the part of you that needs comfort. An angry person might be the rage you have never expressed safely. Instead of being afraid of difficult dream figures, try talking to them in your next dream. Ask them what they want to show you. This technique, called lucid dreaming therapy, lets you heal trauma while you sleep. Many people report breakthrough healing experiences through dream work. Shadow integration is Jung's method for reclaiming disowned parts of yourself. Trauma often causes us to reject certain aspects of our personality because they feel too dangerous or unacceptable. But these rejected parts contain vital energy and gifts we need for wholeness. Make a list of qualities you strongly dislike in other people. These are often your shadow projections, parts of yourself you have disowned because of trauma. Instead of judging these qualities, ask what positive purpose they might serve when expressed in healthy ways. The person who triggers you with their anger might be showing you the assertiveness you need to develop. The person who annoys you with their sensitivity might be reflecting the tenderness you have learned to hide. Reclaiming these shadow parts restores your full personality. Body-based trauma. Release addresses the fact that trauma is stored in your nervous system, not just your mind. Your body holds the memory of every traumatic experience in the form of tension, shallow breathing, and nervous system activation. Practice progressive muscle relaxation. Daily, tensing and releasing each muscle. Group while breathing deeply. This teaches your body that it is safe to relax. Add gentle movement like yoga or dancing to help stuck trauma energy move through your system naturally. Pay attention to where you hold tension in your body. This often corresponds to specific traumas. Tight shoulders might hold the burden of responsibility you carried too young. A clenched jaw might hold anger you never expressed. Breathe into these areas and ask what they need to release. Relationship repatterns is the technique for changing how trauma shows up in your relationships with others. Most people repeat their original trauma in their adult relationships without realizing it. This technique helps you recognize and change these patterns. Identify the relationship dynamic that causes you the most pain, feeling ignored, controlled, criticized, or abandoned. Notice how you contribute to creating this dynamic through your own behavior. Then practice responding differently the next time the pattern starts to emerge. If you tend to attract critical people, notice how you might invite criticism through apologizing excessively or second-guessing yourself. If you feel abandoned frequently, observe how you might push people away first to avoid the pain of them leaving later. Ancestral healing recognizes that trauma patterns often run through family lines for generations. The way your parents handled emotions, relationships, and life challenges was influenced by their own unhealed trauma, which gets passed down unconsciously. Research your family history and identify patterns that repeat across generations. Addiction, depression, relationship problems, or specific fears often run in families, not just through genetics, but through unhealed trauma patterns. Practice forgiveness rituals for your ancestors who passed trauma down to you. Understand that they were doing the best they could with their own wounds. Then consciously choose to heal the pattern in your generation so it does not get passed to future generations. These advanced techniques work best when combined with the 5 basic steps, not used instead of them. Think of the basic steps as your foundation and these advanced methods as ways to deepen and accelerate your healing process, living as your healed self. The ultimate goal of trauma healing is not just to feel better, but to become who you were meant to be before trauma shaped your personality around survival and protection. This final section shows you how to live from your authentic self instead of your wounded self. Authentic decision-making means learning to make choices based on your true desires and values, not your trauma responses. Before making any important decision, ask yourself, is this choice coming from my healed adult self or from a wounded part trying to avoid pain? Wounded parts make decisions based on fear, shame, and the need to prove worthiness. Your authentic self makes decisions based on love, curiosity, and natural growth. Learn to recognize the difference in how these choices feel in your body. Fear-based choices create tension, while authentic choices create expansion. Practice making small, authentic choices daily to build this skill. Choose foods you actually enjoy, not what you think you should eat. Wear clothes that make you feel good, not what others expect. Say no to commitments that drain you, even if saying no feels uncomfortable. Emotional mastery is the ability to feel all emotions without being controlled by them. Healed people do not avoid difficult emotions. They have learned to move through them skillfully. This is very different from emotional suppression or emotional overwhelm. When difficult emotions arise, practice the RAIN technique. Recognize what you are feeling. Allow the emotion to be present. Investigate what the emotion needs and natural awareness. Let the emotion move through you without resistance. This transforms emotions from enemies into messengers. Develop emotional vocabulary so you can identify subtle differences in feelings. Instead of just saying you feel bad, learn to distinguish between disappointed, frustrated, overwhelmed, or discouraged. The more precisely you can name emotions, the more skillfully you can work with them. Relationship intimacy becomes possible when you are no longer protecting wounded parts from being seen. Intimacy means allowing others to see your authentic self, including your vulnerabilities, without trying to manage their reactions or prove your worthiness. Practice sharing your real feelings with safe people instead of just saying what you think they want to hear. Let people see you when you are struggling instead of pretending everything is fine. Ask for help when you need it instead of trying to handle everything alone. Set boundaries based on your actual limits, not on avoiding conflict. Say yes to things you genuinely want to do, not just things you think will make others happy. This creates relationships based on authenticity instead of performance. Creative expression often emerges naturally as trauma heals because creativity was one of the first casualties of survival mode. Your wounded parts needed all available energy for protection, leaving little room for play, imagination, or creative exploration. Pay attention to creative impulses that arise as you heal. The urge to draw, write, dance, sing, or create something. With your hands, these impulses come from healed parts of yourself that are ready to contribute their gifts to your life. Do not judge your creative expressions as good or bad. They are simply ways your authentic self wants to exist in the world. The goal is not to become a professional artist, but to let your creativity flow as a natural expression of your healing. Life purpose clarity often emerges when you are no longer driven by the need to prove yourself or avoid rejection. Your true purpose is usually connected to how you want to contribute to others based on your own healing journey. Many people discover their purpose involves helping others heal from similar wounds they have overcome. Teachers who struggled in school become advocates for learning differences. People who overcame addiction become counselors. Those who healed relationship trauma become therapists or coaches. Your wounds, when healed, become your wisdom. The very experiences that caused you the most pain often become the source of your greatest contribution to the world. This is what Jung meant when he said that trauma, when integrated, becomes the foundation for your most authentic life. Living as your healed self is not a destination you reach, and then you are done. It is an ongoing practice of choosing authenticity over protection, curiosity over fear, and love over defensiveness. Every day offers new opportunities to live from healing instead of wounding. In the comments below, write, "I choose to live." From my authentic self, let this be your commitment to the healing journey and your inspiration to others who are ready to transform their trauma into wisdom.